you guys doing? Jason Kuhn here, FEMA Region 5, giving my Facebook article updates for October 7th, Monday, 2013. We'll jump right here in it. Assad says West is more confident in Al-Qaeda than me. October 6th, in an interview with German magazine, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has accused the West of lies about the use of chemical weapons in Syria and said Russia understands the reality of the conflict in his country much better than the United States. We did not use chemical weapons, Assad said in an advanced version of an interview with Der Spiegel to be published on Monday. This is a misstatement, so this is the picture you paint of me as a man who kills his own people. The Syrian leader criticized the international community. It seems to me that the West is more confident in Al-Qaeda than me, he said. Well, of course, the West is sending Al-Qaeda in Syria to overthrow you, so yes, your statement's correct. Let's move on. WashingtonPost.com, Christians under threat in Syria as Islamist extremists gain influence. When radical Islamists tore down a cross and hoisted a black flag above a church in the northern Syrian city of Raqqa last week, their action underscored the increasing hostile environment of the country's Christians. Although Syria is a majority Sunni Muslim, it is one of the most religiously and ethnically diverse countries in the Middle East, home to Christians, Druze, Shiite, and offshoot of Alawites, and Ismailis. But the country's conflict now is in the third year. It's threatening that tapestry. While the primary front in the war has pitted Sunni against Shiite, Christians are increasingly caught in the line of fire. The perception that they support the government, which is in many cases true, has long made them target of rebel groups. Now Christians say radical Islamic groups such as the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, the ISIS, and an affiliate of Al-Qaeda are determined to drive them from their homes. All supported by you and your U.S. tax dollars. Let's move on. IBTimes.com, North Korea threatens preemptive strikes against South Korea and the United States. North Korea has threatened to launch strikes against its enemy South Korea and the U.S. to preempt an attack by the two countries on its nuclear facilities. The threat follows an agreement between Seoul and Washington over the introduction of nuclear deterrence against Pyongyang. Under the U.S.-South Korea agreement, the two countries vow to attack North Korea if there are indications it will use its nuclear weapons. The strategy is being dubbed as customized deterrence. North Korea has denounced the agreement and said it will not hesitate to attack the United States and South Korea interests if they resort to such military provocations. So let's concentrate on taking out Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and with the use of many rebels, FSA, including CIA-funded Al-Qaeda. Let's ignore North Korea and their continually threats week by week that they'll actually attack us. Let's move on. I guess that's not in the New World Order plans. North Korea, I don't seem to remember being in the list that General Wesley Clark gave of Bush's 7 nations to take out in 5 years. Let's move on. WashingtonTimes.com. ATF tries to block whistleblowing agents' Fast and Furious book. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is blocking the main whistleblower in the Fast and Furious case from publishing a book, claiming his retelling of the Mexican gun-walking scandal will hurt morale inside the embattled law enforcement agencies, according to the documents obtained by the Washington Times. You think it'd hurt morale? Or you think he would expose a lot more that we don't even know about? Let's move on. KTNV.com, Lake Mead property owners forced out until shutdown ends. Wow, the government shutdown is being felt close to home for some locals. They say they're being forced out of private homes on Lake Mead because they sit on federal land. Joyce Spencer is 77 years old and her husband Ralph is 80. They've been spending most of their time in their family ice cream store since going home isn't an option. The Spencers never expected to be forced out of their Lake Mead home, which they've owned since the 1970s, but on Thursday a park ranger said they had 24 hours to get out. I had to go down today and buy Ralph undershirts and jeans because I forgot his pants, Joyce Spencer told Action News. The Stewart's Point home sits on federal land, so even though the Spencers own their cabin outright, they're not allowed in until the government reopens. Let's move on. Telegraph.com, Japan asks international community to help solve Fukushima crisis. Japan's Prime Minister has appealed to the international community to help fix the ongoing crisis as it's damaged Fukushima nuclear power plant. Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister, confirmed that Japan was open to receiving assistance from overseas in a bid to help resolve the world's worst nuclear crisis in decades. We are open to receive the most advanced knowledge from overseas to contain the problem, said Mr. Abe during a speech made in English at a science forum in Kyoto. My country needs your knowledge and expertise. His comments were made against a backdrop of ongoing technical issues, with operators confirming the latest mishap with an accidental power power out, stopping pumps used to inject water to cool reactors. The incident occurred when a worker carrying out systems inspections accidentally pushed a button which switched off power to some of the systems within 4 reactor buildings. So it just shut off all the flow of the water cooling off the reactors. But yeah, this ask and cry out for help for to the international community is well overdue and a little bit late, in my opinion. Let's move on. Telegraph.com. Alien DNA could be recreated on Earth. Humans will be able to recreate alien life forms and print out organisms used in biological equivalent of a 3D printer in the future, a DNA pioneer has predicted. Dr. Craig Venter, who helped map the human genome, created the world's first synthetic life form using chemicals and inserting DNA into the cell of a bacteria. He believes scientists will soon be able to do the same, designing basic organisms to include features useful in farming or medicine, as well as sending robots into space to read the sequence of alien life forms and replicate them back on Earth. Writing in his latest book, Life at the Speed of Light, From the Double Helix to the Dawn of Digital Life, he says, in years to come, it will be increasingly possible to create a wide variety of synthetic cells from computer-designed software. So you thought, the printing 3D guns is pretty cool. Well, looks like we're going to be printing 3D DNA and recreating alien life on Earth. Let's move on. USAToday.com, MasterCard joining push for fingerprint ID standard. MasterCard is joining the FIDO alliance, signaling that the payment network is getting interested in using fingerprints and other biometric data to identify people for online payments. MasterCard will be the first major network to join FIDO. The alliance is developing an open industry standard for biometric data, such as fingerprints, to be used for identification online. The goal is to replace clunky passwords and take friction out of logging on the purchasing using mobile devices. There you go. At first it'll just be for your convenience and people will just accept that mark of the beast. That's how it will go. Let's go to theblaze.com. Young Ohio woman charged with daycare sex crime that is almost impossible to fathom. An Ohio daycare employee has been arrested after police say she raped an infant and even captured it on video. Heather Kuhn, 25, was taken into custody Friday after authorities discovered a sex tape she had recorded of herself raping a little child, according to Fox affiliate WXIX. The video was reportedly found on Kuhn's laptop after police checked up on her fiancé, James Osborne, who is listed on Lorain County sex offender website as an incorrect address. After police arrested him, they confiscated a laptop belonging to Kuhn and uncovered the disturbing footage. Completely sick. Let's move on. Duck Dynasty star, they told us to stop praying to Jesus so it wouldn't offend Muslims. Wow. In an interview with Sports Spectrum magazine, Willie and Phil Robertson, stars of Duck Dynasty, talk about the fake bleeps, praying in Jesus' name, and getting flack from Christians. When the editors of Duck Dynasty asked the stars to stop saying in Jesus' name during prayers because it might offend Muslims. Wow. Phil Robertson had to stand his ground. Phil Robertson, who also admitted that the fake bleeps were inserted into the show, even though there was no cursing happening. They inserted fake bleeps like somebody had used profanity, but no one had used profanity. I asked the guys that produced the show, what about the fake bleeps? If we are not going to use profanity, why make it look like we were using profanity, Phil Robertson said. I'll tell you why, because they want to make you look like hypocrites and bigots. And they want to defame Christianity as much as they can. But, of course, they don't want to defame or embarrassed or upset the Muslim community. Well, that's all my articles I got for you today. Let me read you my New World Order quote for the day. President Franklin Roosevelt, November 21st, 1933. The real truth of this matter is, as you and I know, that a financial element in larger centers has owned the government since the days of Andrew Jackson. Proverb of the day, Proverbs 28:26, King James only. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whosoever walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. That's all the articles I got for you today. Check me out at Facebook, Jason A. Kuhn. Check me out also on my ministry page at Romans 12:2 Transformer Ministries, and you can also check me out on YouTube. I'll leave you out with the song I brought you in on by Disciple, Southern Hospitality.